Fairy Tail is a good anime and no one would tell me different. In fact, it's not even a good anime, it's an amazing anime. I don't know why people actually hate on it, because from the first episode to the last, Fairy Tail was such an enjoyable anime to watch. Saying I've watched Naruto, Bleach, One Piece and Dragon Ball Z, and Fairy Tail was one of my favourite ones I've ever watched. I thought that the internet would find Fairy Tail good too, until I went on the internet and saw that everyone doesn't like Fairy Tail. I was confused, so I watched the video and the reasons didn't make any sense. And like half the reasons these guys were making were stretched out to prove the points that they were making, or just entirely wrong, and it really confused me because Fairy Tail has one of the best highs in anime history, but for some reason people don't talk about it. Fairy Tail's made me laugh, Fairy Tail's made me cry, and today I'm going to explain to you why Fairy Tail is actually a very good anime manga. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Sam the Anime Man, and today I'm going to talk about why Fairy Tail is actually an amazing anime. If you couldn't tell by my profile pic, I love Fairy Tail. I love Natsu, I made a video about him too. I love Grey, I love Lucy, I love Urza. And all these characters will eventually get videos, but for today I'm going to specifically talk about why Fairy Tail is an amazing anime. And I'll also be discussing with you points that people make and the reasons they have for hating Fairy Tail. This first point doesn't make sense to me because if you watch any shonen anime, you will know that the power of friendship is prevalent in every shonen anime. Reason why the power of friendship works in Fairy Tail the most is because of the bonds they have in the guild. If you've watched the show, even went to episode 2 or chapter 2 of Fairy Tail, you would understand why the power of friendship works in Fairy Tail. To give an example, I'll talk about One Piece. Two fights that have the power of friendship inside of One Piece is Luffy versus Rob Lucci and Luffy versus Kataguri. The reason why Luffy was able to push himself so much in those fights is because he's fighting for his friends. Ultimately, that's what leads him to victory in the end. Thing is, when One Piece does it, it's not a problem. But when Fairy Tail does it, it is a problem. Even in real life, you are more likely to perform well or the extra mile for your friends. Like if you've played any sports before, you would know that your emotions play a lot into what you're doing. Like if you're losing in a game of football, you are going to work harder to try score a goal. That is your emotion driving you to do something that you normally wouldn't be able to do. That is completely normal. But when Fairy Tail does it, it's plot armor and it doesn't make sense. Fairy Tail does an amazing job, an incredible job even, establishing the bonds between its guild members. From early on, the show makes one thing clear. This isn't just a group of mages, they're a family. And nowhere is that more obvious than the Phantom Lord arc. Lucy, who had only recently joined the guild, is kidnapped and forced to return to her father. But even though she is still new, the entire guild treats her like her own. Phantom Lord is literally tearing the guild apart, and Fairy Tail doesn't hesitate. They go to war and they are ready to risk everything for someone that they barely knew. That moment, it defined who Fairy Tail is. Loyalty, love, kindness, and that ride or die energy. Only certain animes are able to make you feel that way. And that's why when the characters cry, when the characters are in pain, and when the characters feel joy, we feel it too. And that's because the anime and manga both have taken the time to show that these characters all care for each other. And in certain animes, you feel like you're watching the journey. For example, in One Piece, Black Clover, and Naruto, it feels like you're watching their journey to greatness, and you do care about those journeys, don't get me wrong. With Fairy Tail, it feels like you're on the journey with them. Looking back, I was surprised on how much I was shouting to my screen because I care about these characters so deeply. Fairy Tail is one of the only animes that's ever made me feel that way. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the fan service. Yeah, it's there, and yes, most of the time in anime, it's weird and unnecessary. I'm not here to praise it or pretend it's amazing, but when it comes to Fairy Tail, I generally think people blow it out of proportion. A lot of anime include fan service, yet Fairy Tail constantly gets singled out like it's the worst offender. Now don't get me wrong, if this is the reason you dropped the series, I totally get it. But if we take a step back, some, and I mean some of the fan service actually ties into the characters themselves. Lucy, for example. I didn't like Lucy at first, for the same reasons why people don't really like Lucy, the fan service. But on the rewatch of the series, you realise at first she uses her sex appeal to get what she wanted due to the lack of male validation and male attention. Take Urza for example. Her comfort and smut makes more sense when you understand her former past as a slave. These aren't just throwaway gags. In some weird way, they give us an insight of who these characters actually are. Is it overdone sometimes? Absolutely. But I argue it's not just brainless or pointless as people make it out to be. Another thing people sleep on is the fairy tale cast. But what makes a good cast is not just about having cool designs or flashy powers. It's a cast that can bounce off each other and they feel like real people with chemistry, conflict, and they all care for each other. A good example of this is the Straw Hats in One Piece. Each character has their own purpose, their own personality, and their own growth, but they all contribute to a bigger picture. And this is where Fairy Tail shines. Natsu, Grey, Urza, Lucy, Wendy, Gargiel, Mira Jane, and Elfman, Lizana, Levi, Luxus, Makarov. All these characters have growth. They don't just exist to fill space, they all play a role and bounce off each other in a way that makes the show generally enjoyable. And honestly, the female cast is one of the best in anime. I'm not exaggerating. Otia's story alone hits harder than most of the side characters in the series. You've got Urza, Wendy, Meridi, Juvia, Kagura, Minerva, Yukino, and all of them have their own unique arcs and depth. This make them really stand out as a character and not just a woman. They're actually their own individual character. It's rare for shonen to give this much females their own story, their own development, and their own screen time, and Fairy Tail does not get enough credit for that. But what makes Fairy Tail so good is that it does two things extremely well: building up hype for battles and delivering raw emotions. I honestly think Fairy Tail and One Piece are the only two anime that master this balance. Every time there's a big fight, a major reveal, a win, or a crushing defeat, you will feel something. This series has made me cry on multiple occasions, not because it's trying to be sad for the sake of it, but because it takes the time to make you care about its characters. Because when they're happy, you're happy. When they're sad, you're sad. Why do we all cry when the Gormary was burnt? Yes, I know you cried when the Gormary was burnt away. Because Oda made us attached to that boat and it worked. And that's the power of storytelling. And Fairy Tail has been doing that since chapter 1. Fairy Tail also has one of the best soundtracks in all of anime, period. The music is just on a different level. Like, bro, it's so good. Like, the OST doesn't, it's just, it elevates the anime like to different levels. And tell me where you didn't get chills. You tell me you didn't get chills when Natsu's theme started playing, or you didn't start crying when the Fairy Tail's main theme, but the slow version started playing. Like, the OSTs elevates Fairy Tail even higher. Like, you read the manga and you're like, oh, okay, this is actually good. Like, the manga has some benefits and some drawbacks, but the anime will always have the OST. My favorite opening will always be opening 3. I don't care what anyone tells me. Opening 3 is the best opening in Fairy Tail and one of the best openings in anime. Yes, I said it. Fight me in the comments. Fight me. Look, Fairy Tail isn't perfect. No anime is. But what it does right, it does it exceptionally well. The emotional storytelling, the unforgettable music, the strong character bonds, the hype moments all come together to create something truly unique and special. It's not just about the fights or the fan service, it's about family, their loyalty to each other, and how they push each other forward. Fairy Tail made me laugh. Fairy Tail has made me cry. It has made me cheer more times than I can count. And if you're looking past the surface level criticism, you'll find a series that's full of heart and passion. So yeah, Fairy Tail is not mid, Fairy Tail is not bad, Fairy Tail is good. I'd say Fairy Tail is amazing and deserves all the respect that it gets. Well, that's the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember, guys, stay safe and Jesus loves you.